Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, you will have a message posted beginning of this week, so definitely check that out. And if you're interested in channel memberships, that link will be in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started. Taking a step aside and allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay, I have this feeling like almost like I'm taking like I'm taking a robe off. This robe, I'm seeing it like with sparkles. It's like an energy robe. So someone has dismantled a particular type of energy within their life. They may be experiencing life now in this new energy, or the residual energy, quite possibly even a layer of their energy that they haven't necessarily operated from previously. And it feels like there's something inside of this experience of this layer that's having us revisit something from the past. Whether this is, for example, something cycling back around into our energy or our awareness in a new way, for example. But there's something that seems to be re-emerging from far in our own story, far in our own history. I'm seeing a bunch of mirrors. It's almost like we're seeing ourselves through this experience in a different way than we had previously. Okay, very interesting. Okay, where are we going? We're going over here. Okay. If I sound tired, it's because a friend and I brought our dogs out for a walk today, out in the heat, in the forest. It's a very long walk. It's a very long walk. Oh, goodness. It was quite the adventure. Okay. Oh God, I love these cards. This is beautiful. Yeah. So there's how this is striking me is it almost feels like there's someone in this collective who this message is meant for, who we may not necessarily have a sense of self at this moment. It's like I'm rediscovering who I am. And when we look at it in different ways, right? That's what the topsy-turvets represents. It's perceiving things completely different ways, but in some ways it almost looks the same. We keep coming back to this, right? The blank card, the blank page, that idea of something that isn't fully formed or fully created, something that may be very abstract and ambiguous, right? I do think that this sort of removing this robe or removing this layer had something to do with identifiers. So ways that maybe we labeled ourselves or we identified ourselves, these things being the things that are being released. There's something about those identifiers being something that maybe, and I know this card is the Singer of Courage, and I'm going to read it the way that it's meant to be read here, but this right here is striking me as something else at the moment. It's almost as though it was something inside of our mental sphere, our mind space, that was really keeping us stuck, right? We see those shields or those layers. They're almost like nets that are keeping this being from lifting. And so this seems to be what we've removed from ourselves. It's some way of thinking about things, some way of identifying ourselves, some way of maybe even approaching the world, approaching our life through this very intellectual space, or this very, I almost feel that underneath that intellectual space, there's actually quite a bit of anxiety, right? Am I doing things right? Am I going the right way? I don't want to waste time. I don't want to make mistakes, right? It's that kind of energy down in here. I don't know that that's going to resonate for everybody, but I do feel that that is making itself known here for someone inside this collective. Now, there seems to be a lot of courage that we have had to embody, right? Something that new. So I don't know why I want to call it new. It's almost like a newfound sense of courage, a new level of bravery, a new level of trusting ourselves. In order to, Solace represents this this yang energy that just breaks through barriers, in order to break through some sort of barrier that we had here. And it's quite possible that all of this is coming down to something that we've been trying to connect to. We have the Singer of Connection here. This connection seems like it's trying to bring us into this, which for me, this card is actually what we're looking for, right? So here what we have is we have this loss of identity in some way, loss of identifiers, loss of labels, maybe experiencing some sort of ego death in that way, right? And not necessarily knowing what we want to do, what direction we want to head, what we even like anymore. But the whole process of this and this unfolding and this allowing this abstraction to kind of take place is so that we can eventually navigate into this. Penelope, the dream weaver, she understands how to make dreams happen. She has a dream. She has something that she's passionate about. This is something that her eyes may be closed and she can't always visualize it. She can't always see it. She can't always feel it, but it's always right there. And so what's happening here is it seems to be this removal of different layers of self in order to bring us to a place that has required courage to break through certain barriers, especially inside the mind space, to bring us to a place where we can connect to something that we actually hold very dear to ourselves, right? This may be something that we've lost along the way. All of this is coming with us. This is a lesson. It's almost like somebody built up this mega epic toolbox to carry into their future with them. We have fairies of the future here. And, okay, I'm being told to shift decks. 3. There may be travel for somebody here with the 8 of Wands, but more specifically than that, there's this energy coming into someone as they've removed these layers. It's almost like a part of this that someone didn't quite expect or didn't think was going to happen, which is that now we've become this conduit, right? We're starting to understand that manifestations and the reflection, going back to the idea of the mirrors, the reflection is taking place. Someone here is being able to see that now that they have removed these layers and these identifiers off themselves. They're able to see how quickly things manifest around them, or how symbolically a language, the reality around them is speaking to them about aspects within them. This is all sort of that subconscious material trying to come up, right? It's like trying to interact. This water in the subconscious cup is trying to interact through this fish. And they speak a very different language, the fish and this person in this card. Someone may be trying to learn how to speak that language. You know, what is my reality actually saying to me? What is internally taking place for this to be what's reflecting? And there seems to be some sort of success that someone is having in this, right? This is success in navigating our true desires. Again, this is very much that sort of energy of the Penelope, the Dreamweaver, of understanding exactly what we want, right? The highest level of manifestation. For some of you, there is an understanding that in order to do that, there is something that needs to be left behind. Again, going back to that energy of a move, quite possibly it could be someplace that we live, someplace where we've set up our roots, our foundations. For some of you, it may even be a connection that's inside of your life that needs to be released in order to truly shed that last layer. And what is trying to come in with this last layer is, again, not only this Penelope Dreamweaver energy, but in the tarot, it's being represented this way, the Queen of Wands. The interesting thing about both of those energies, Penelope Dreamweaver and the Queen of Wands, is in some ways they weave their own illusion, right? In this context, I don't mean illusion like something that is tricking us. I mean the understanding of the hologram, right? That we're weaving our own hologram. There's a reason why this Queen of Wands is sitting underneath this Magician card, and it's both of those are sitting underneath Solace and courage, right? There's some sort of courage that someone has to step into to fully rise to what the occasion is calling. In other words, there's some mindset shift that may still be part of the old story. And someone here is going to be soon releasing that mindset. I don't think it's a mindset that's really hindering us. It's that one little last energetic tweak that has to take place where we step into the role of the magician, right? Rather than the high priestess. The high priestess receives information. The magician decides what to do with his own information. Someone here is stepping into this energy of the magician, and it's taking a little bit more courage and bravery of self, right? Trusting the self. This is huge. I'm just going to say this, like, this switch is huge, because this is where we go from a sense of like obedience, or a sense of navigating things based on what we're receiving from the external, and then we're understanding the actual point here of all of it. By point, I don't mean the end goal, the end game. I mean that the focus has been and will always be and continues to be and should be ourself, right? The magician. We tend to miss that focus, and because we miss that focus, we flail. We flail, and we, have all these things that we go chasing after that never quite work out for us. It's very hard to understand the concept of truly immersing inside of the self and focusing on the self. It's very hard. There's layers and layers and layers to what that means, and we as people, we're naturally programmed to focus on everything outside of ourselves. Someone here is really stepping into that driver's seat for themselves, and they're unleashing something here with the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands, she's different than the King of Wands, right? The King of Wands, he thinks very hard about what it is that he's trying to manifest for himself. The Queen of Wands follows, because she's a queen, she represents an aspect that follows her intuition in order to manifest. She follows her desires, her passions in order to manifest. And that's the whole point of this message. Someone here is coming into alignment with their true passions. You may not see it yet because what's still showing up is this white card, right? But this is where this is navigating someone. The thing is that this is taking a little bit of time because there is something that has to be left behind. Again, we see that with the Six of Swords showing up again. For some of you, this may have something to do with love, with the energy of love and the way that we love, the way that we think that we're supposed to love, the kind of love that we think we're looking for. For others of you, this is simply something that we may be nurturing that needs to be released because it has a hold on us. Again, beneath that Devil card, the card that's showing up is the Star. And so that is liberation, right? Freeing ourselves. And then again, we see that movement taking place with the Chariot. So not only is there this moving from one location to another that may be coming up for some of you, that doesn't have to be for all of you, but there's a movement inside the mind. There's a movement of priorities that's taking place. There's a movement in our relationship to how we think we're expressing love, or how we should receive love, or even the kind of love that we want. So this is very interesting here. It's almost as though that as we recode that heart space, there's something else that comes in and makes more sense. So whoever this message is for, this is a short one for me. I just really wanted to do this reading tonight rather than doing it tomorrow morning. I feel like there's something else that's coming through for tomorrow morning that's going to be rather big. So I just wanted to make space for it. And so I hope you guys have been having an amazing weekend if you're watching this when I post this. And yeah, I will see you guys soon.